going on, my lovely people? Back for another episode with Judgment Free with NB3. I'm Nelson Bernard III. So, this month, ironically, is Men's Mental Health Month. And to date, this has been my most emotional roller coaster month this year. And for several reasons, and I'm going to get into those, right? But the first being, obviously, month of June is Father's Day. Now, anybody who knows me know that I'm not real big on holidays and all that, right? But Father's Day has recently became real significant to me for the simple fact that, back in 2019 was when the first time I had my girls for the whole entire summer. And that's when I got married to my wife, Robin, right? So she definitely helped me with that situation. So what she did was she would take the girls, my three daughters, Blessing, Corinne, Emerson. Hi, my lovely girls. If y'all listening, they trying to get to you. I'm reaching out. I don't know if you got my email. I mean, not my email, but my voicemail, text messages, and everything. So, Dad's reaching out. I ain't gonna stop. But she would take my three daughters to go to the store and then get me. I guess a Father's Day gift. She would, had them kind of like pick out or see where they're gonna navigate to. Of course, she supervised, of course, but so she did it. The first time was in 2019, and then did it again in 2020 because I had them for the summer again for 2020, right? And to me, it's no big deal, whatever, it's Father's Day or whatever. But the thought that she did that, and then to see what they wanted to get their dad was kind of intriguing, right? So it became something special because of what my wife did. And then it also affected me to this day. So like I wear bead bracelets, right? It's because of my daughter Corey. So she had got me I think it's like black and white bead set or whatever. It came with like a little watch, something like that. But I started wearing those, for this fact, she got it, she bought it, she wanted to get her daddy, you know what I mean? So, anybody who knows me, I'm not a real jewelry accessory person, right? I'll do a wedding ring and a watch, right? I ain't doing nothing else. I don't like shades, hats, none of that, right? So, but she got me the stick with the little watch with the beads and everything. So I started wearing them that summer. And of course, they were basic, right? They broke and, popped over time, but I've evolved and got different bracelets and different bead bracelets since then. And then I haven't not worn them since then, right? Of course, I didn't wear them in uniform when I was still in the Marine Corps, but, when I was out of uniform and on the weekends, I would put them on. So, and to this day now, it's part of my routine, my get up now. I have my bead bracelet. I don't even wear watches anymore at this point. So so that's so when I look at how it's connected to Father's Day, like that particular day, right? That's why it hits different, and then now that I can't be with my girls and can't get to them and not get a happy Father's Day or just hey dad or or like that. So it definitely was there, made me very emotional. Like my heart was definitely crying out for my daughters. And it sucks, throughout the whole year, right? Not being able to be a father, right? Being a block father versus an absent father, right? Because there's the difference, right? And that's the theme of this episode, because I'm not an absent father. I'm a father that's being blocked, right? So but nonetheless, it still hurts all the same, right? So then, when I see I see the fathers, man, especially my black fathers, right? When I see them with their kids, man, and they loving on their dad, especially on that day, and that's when it gets even more emotional, right? Because typically I would have them in the summer for that time period anyway, right? So it's just like it's twofold because yeah, man, I miss that, that love I get from my daughters, and just you know just hearing, hey daddy, like, yeah, it's been a while, man. And but yeah, it was definitely it was tough. But I had my tribe, they reached out to me, shout out to my sister Cherie, man, they gonna check up on me, what I'm saying, and my niece. So that was cool that they called me, tell me happy Father's Day, what I'm saying, because they understand what it is and everything. So it means a lot, anybody outside of my daughters, when I can get that love and that acknowledgement, like, they don't understand what that does for me, and it just lets me know that, I'm not forgotten, I'm not by myself, and I know that, but it feels like it sometimes, right? But you look around, there's a lot of fathers, they don't have their kids for various reasons, right? So but it still hurt, what I'm saying, and like just seeing it, man, like, of course, at church we do, Happy Father's Day service and whatnot, and just knowing, like, man, I got babies out here I can't get to, and hopefully they're trying to get to me, and but it just, it pulls at the heartstrings, So my heart was definitely crying out for my daughters. Bless Cole M, man. Like, y'all understand, like, daddy love y'all to the earth and back, man, to the moon and back, right? And I'm not gonna stop expressing it though. I'm not gonna stop professing it. I'm not gonna stop reaching out. I'm not gonna stop, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what's going on. So that's just what it is, but shout out to all the fathers that are in their kids' life, that are trying to get in their kids' life, and even the ones that's not in their kids' life, right? Because again, I look at this situation differently now. When I hear about a man not being in their kid's life, or not paying child support, not doing this, not doing that, right? I sit back and I look at, okay, so what happened? What's up? What's wrong? Versus, he a deadbeat. Oh man, that's messed up, right? So, life is the best teacher, right? It's gonna make you look at things differently, right? I don't judge that no more. Like I said, when I look at Amber Alerts and I see the same last name, I'll be like, my question is, or my first thought is, okay, what's the story there? Not like, oh, this is an awful person, they went and took a kid and blah blah blah, right? You gotta understand, like, there is nuances in life, right? So yeah, so my situation have made me look at life and men and women very differently, right? Because you never know what it really is. So shout out to all my fathers, especially my black fathers, because they say we don't, we're not active in our kids' lives, and they don't portray that on the movies and the TVs and and all that type of stuff. So we definitely gotta fight and battle those stigmas and those statistics all the time, and we shouldn't, but it's the way of the world, right? So shout out to the fathers, and keep doing what you supposed to be doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You are valued, we are valued, and we're needed. Okay, even though I can't father my own children, I got stepchildren, I got grandchildren, I got nieces and nephews, cousins, like, so and just friends. So I just I give that energy and love to those that I can, instead of dwelling on the ones that I can't. Right. So that's the difference. That's the difference. So, but yeah, it was rough for your boy. I'm not even seeing front. Like, I'm not seeing front. I made it through by the grace of God and my tribe. Just putting their hands around me, praying for me, even the ones I don't even know about that's doing it, right? So I appreciate you and everybody out there. because it gets rough some days, harder than others, but particularly around Father's Day now, because it's a different significance for me. Not necessarily the holiday itself, but but yeah. So, but I mean, and it's to the point where, like, so my oldest stepdaughter Tia, she comes in my man cave, and she was like, Milton, what you want for Father's Day? I'm like, nah, I'm good, and everybody who knows me, I'm not real big on gifts and ooh, get me this, that, what I'm saying. I'm chilling, right? And she just looked at me and she was like, so you don't want nothing? And I looked at her with the most sincerity and was like, I want my daughters. I mean, can you get me that? You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she was like, well, anything else? Bless her heart for the thought and for trying. But, I'm serious about my girls. Like, there's not a day I don't go without thinking about them or wanting them. So, bless Co-M, despite what's being told to y'all, Daddy's on the hunt. I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? Speaking your name, let you know you're thought about all the time, right? So, but yeah, I thought it was kind of cute though, funny that she would try to get some out of me as far as like asking what I want, because I'm not the type of person to tell you, oh, give me this. I'm just like, whatever was on your heart, whatever you feel like you want to do for me, that is fine, because the best gifts are the ones you least expect. I always believe that in life. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, so that as I transition to another event that happened that had me very highly emotional, right? Was so my classmate Garen. Oh my gosh! Shout out to my man Garen, his lovely wife now, Ravon. Man, so around Juneteenth they had a wedding, right? And it was a wedding, y'all. So like ceremony, all that, right? I haven't been to one of those in a long time, right? In a long time. So got a chance to take my wife, Robin. We stepped out, got dressed up, and went to the wedding. The weather was kind of bad in the beginning. It was raining, a lot, but it don't stop no show, right? So we get there, man, and wait for things to start and everything. And so then everything started to kick off, and the bridal shower, groomsmen, all that. Everybody started walking through the groom. And then, man, when I tell y'all, when the bride came through with her father, now this is a black couple now, man, he walked his daughter down the aisle. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I shedded a tear in my right eye. Now, being very specific, because that's what happened, right? Because I felt the emotion, watching this black man walk his black daughter down the aisle to marry this black man, right? And it did something to me right on the spot, right? And I feel like I was gonna really like lose it and just cry, right? But I shed one tear. I shed one tear in my right eye, and I said a quick prayer to God. I was like, Lord, please just give me the opportunity to give my daughters away. Just give me the opportunity, because that was a special moment. Like, and the groom was crying. I shed a tear. So, I don't imagine what the father felt, and I'm sure the bride, she was crying. She her back was to us, of course. But yeah, it was a powerful moment, y'all. And it's even powerful because like they don't portray this on TV a lot. A black man walking his black daughter down to marry a black man, right? Giving his daughter away, right? They don't show that, right? But it's always all black fathers did that, what I'm saying? But they don't show the stuff that we actually do, right? So that was so powerful for me, right? And it instantly made me think about my daughters. Like, just please let me get the chance to walk them down the aisle and give them away, And he gave her away proudly too, because he was like, who give this woman to be married? He was like, I do. I mean, it was bone chilling. I was like, man, like I felt that. So I'm telling y'all, man, like life has a funny way of showing you and making you feel certain things. And yeah, so that was an awesome picture perfect Kodak moment. And just seeing them be married now, and enjoying us. And I had a good time. Like, anybody know me, I like to dance. Some of y'all might have seen my post. I had my navy blue suit on. And honestly, y'all, look, I didn't think I was doing too much with my suit, but apparently I was, because all the guys, all the fellas was like, yo, man, your suit, man, like, where'd you get that, man? You look fly, man. I'm just like, I was just going with the color scheme, man. So what happened was, I told my wife, I was like, all right, what color we going with? She said navy blue. So all I did was get her dress, and then I went to K&G and I picked out the first suit I saw that was navy blue. I was like, okay, that look cool. Got it tailored and everything. And then got me some shoes online, of course, because I wear size 15. I'm rarely gonna find some shoes in the store. And then got a couple with sage green shirt and a beige shirt, right? Because we're trying to see what color we're gonna go with. So I want the sage green shirt. No tie, because I'm good on ties. Our military did a number on me with all that. So I'm chilling on that. So yeah. So I'm stepped out, all right, cool. I'm just, thinking I'm just regular, right? And then, I get there, they just like, yo, like, you look fly. I'm sitting like, no, your tux, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look fly. I love your fit. He said, no, bro, so, so I think it hit me in that moment. And I was telling my wife about this. I was like, man, I said, I became the man that I used to admire, like, when you see them dress a certain way, you see like different styles or whatnot, like, like the kind of like that young OG, like I stepped into that role, because like all the fellas was like, like, yo, bro, like I like that, bro, like, what I'm saying, like, I'm just like, man, like, when did this happen, I just turned 40 this year, but I guess it's that change of the guard. But I become that man that I used to admire and look up to when I see guys dress on their grown man stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, man, I just had an epiphany about, man, like, this is crazy. And again, like, I'm just going to a wedding to have a good time. That's it. I wasn't trying to stunt. I was just like, all right, come clean. And I was excited because I didn't have those colors in my closet. So it made me get a whole new suit. And, just do something different, something fresh, right? But man, I didn't think I was good at all that reception and be received like that, and it just made me think, like, like my style has elevated and matured since I've gotten older, because I was good with tank tops, basketball shorts, flip flops. Anybody who know me know, like, it's whatever. The appearance wasn't all that important to me all the time, right? But on my own, I was like, you know what? I want to dress better. I want to look better, right? And I picked that whole suit out, that whole get up, all out by myself, from head to toe. So I'm actually proud of myself now that I'm actually, thinking about it and talking about it, because I came a long way. And, of course, some nudging with my wife, of course. Of course, women, they're going to nudge you, and they're going to, women going to do what they're going to do, right? But yeah, like, just knowing where I come from and where I am now, oh, man, like, I see the evolution, and I understand be on that grown man, on that grown man, tip, right? So I'm definitely, embodying it. And it looks good and it feels good to me and on me, right? But y'all, I'm telling you, man, like, and of course, when I started dancing, like, I ain't finna hold back. But I was a little reserved because it went too many people on the dance floor. But I got bust some moves, you know what I'm saying, and then, like, having a good time. I don't drink, so I'm completely sober, so I get high off of life, and what life has to offer, regardless and despite what's going on in my life. So you gotta understand that. So, so yeah, and I got a lot of feedback just from my vibes and everything. Everybody loved it. Shout out to my classmates, LeBron, Samira, Deja, you know, and Amaya. Y'all came through, and y'all loved on my wife, and y'all had a good time, and y'all had me cracking up, right? But yeah, it was just a family affair. It felt like that. Like I met his people, and I feel like I've known them for years. The way we were interacting, and I just met them 24 hours before, for the most part, at the get together for the groomsmen, right? So the bachelor party get together, right? So, but yeah, so I mean, we got to the wedding and we had a good time. Like took pictures and everything, and like so it was awesome, right? No drama, right? You know, and we as black people we could come together in fellowship, and things would just be kosher, copacetic, right? So I took pictures, and like it was a good vibes, right? And so I Garen, Ravon, thank y'all so much. Oh, thank y'all so much for that experience, because we needed that. We needed that. We needed that for sure, for sure. And just seeing like just black love, you know, the father daughter piece, saying even the mother son piece, they did the dances, of course, right? And like even when they did the dance, I was just like, man, I just my heart was just filled up with joy, but then also sadness in a sense, because like it's like, dang man, like I ain't never had no father daughter dance with my daughters, had to do in the schools and everything. I ain't never been a part of that stuff, or invited, right? So it just makes me go to like, dang man, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a pleasure pain type situation, when I see stuff like that, because you want to see it, but then you look at like, dang man, like it will sure be nice, type thing. But like I said, it's a constant battle, y'all. I definitely have evolved when dealing with my situation, right? Because the depression and stuff was real, and it kind of froze me in time, right? And that wasn't a good look for me or my family or the people around me. So yeah, it's gonna teach you, how life really go and how you should operate, right? So yeah, but it was refreshing though. Like I said, it's gonna be the good, bad, and the ugly in every situation, right? I'm never gonna just present the good and not give you anything else, right? I'm giving you the raw, unadulterated truth on how I feel and how I felt, and like, and when people ask me on Father's Day, like, how you feeling? I said, I'm feeling sad. When brothers ask me, the ones who knew my situation and who didn't know, they was like, how you feeling, bro? I said, I'm feeling a little sad in my heart right now, and that's just what it is, And that's me being vulnerable, because it's real. I can run from it all day. I can not acknowledge it, but it ain't gonna do nobody no good. So for my men, I challenge you to be vulnerable with somebody once a week at least. Somebody you care about, you trust and love. Somebody, because at the end of the day, it's gonna help you in the long run, and you can still be a man while doing it. Okay, that's why I do this. I'll tell anybody any day that yeah, I feel like crying or I cried, either in front of somebody or in my man cave or in the car or whatever, right? I feel sad because I miss my babies. I didn't lose any manhood by saying that. I didn't become weak or weaker by expressing that and saying that. So I do that to show you that you ain't the only one. And you can find strength in your vulnerability. That's all I has ever done with it. Because it's all you can do at the end of the day. I mean, you can crash out, but then you one of the statistics now. What they say about us, right? What men do. Well, they like no, I'm not gonna be a part of that. But it's still real out here, though. It's still real. I can feel pain and joy at a wedding. I can feel pain and joy on Father's Day. So I'm just saying, like, it's okay, men. It's Men's Mental Health Month, right? Everybody go around, oh, happy Men's Mental Health Month. Like, nah, forget all that. Let's be vulnerable. That's how you can acknowledge Men's Mental Health Day or month, which is every day anyway. Men's mental health is every day, right? But we recognize it in a month. I get it, right? So I'm not with all that titles and holidays and like let's talk about this every day. Let's express this every day. Let's not wait for a month or a day or some calendar to tell you, okay, it's time to love. Okay, it's time to show appreciation. Okay, it's time to feel sad. Okay, it's time to, like, stop all that. Let's be human beings and be grown real men. Because grown real men cry. Grown real men be sad. Grown real men is angry. Grown real men, be depressed, anxious, you name it. So, but if it takes this month to prompt this and celebrate it or whatever, by all means, but just understand life happens year round, not just in June. Now, my heaviest month, like I said, it mostly was, ironically in June, but again, it's gonna hit, it'll come around. My daughter's birthdays will come up throughout the year, the holidays when I normally would have them, comes up, right? Okay. So, but them starting school, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff, right? So, yeah, so I'm not here to play with nobody. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not here to play with nobody. Life sucks sometimes, but you better make lemonade out of these lemons for sure. Okay? Because I can be the person that I am, that the person that people love, my energy, my vibes, if I wasn't doing that, right? And the crazy part, when I talk to these fellas either at the wedding or whoever, they wouldn't even know that I'm going through this, right? Because of how I carry myself. I wear it well. Whatever is going on with me, right? Whatever battles and struggles I'm going on, I wear it well. But that's just to let you know it don't have to control you. It don't have to dictate every part of your life, right? So that's the most unique thing, because I'm still living and having fun despite of what's going on in the trials and tribulations, right? Like current, present day, not in the past. I'm talking about now. Now. But I'm being intentional. I'm deciding to be like this, right? It's not automatic. I don't wake up and be like, you know what? It is what it is. No, I decide what type of person are you going to be, Nelson. You still can't get your daughters. You still can't talk to them. They can't get to you. But what kind of stepfather are you going to be? What kind of grandfather are you going to be? What kind of husband are you going to be today? What kind of friend, son, uncle? Okay? So that's just one aspect of my life. I got other hats and other things I need to do. So you got to understand, men. I'm talking to you men, directly to men. It's going to be okay. But only if you choose for it to be okay. See, that's the difference. But see, we'll choose to crash out. We'll choose to do the wrong thing, right? And be like, well, they made me. Ain't nobody make you do nothing. Just like you chose to do the right thing, you chose to do the wrong thing. You chose to react this way, you chose to respond this way, right? Because as men, we're supposed to be in control, right? Have that discipline, good order and discipline, right? That's what we try to teach our children. So we got to embody it. Before we try to teach anything to anybody else, we need to first embody it first. And not to do as I say, not as I do, as I say, not as I do. Like that stuff is in the past. That is in the past. We have to first embody whatever it is that we're trying to project or teach or put out there. So that's why whenever people encounter me, they get the same person. Because I'm not acting, I'm not put on the front, and my situation has not changed in 4 years. So that tells you I'm putting in the work, and I'm not letting my situation dictate me. Because being a blocked father is different from being an absent father. I'm being blocked. Heavily, severely blocked. Versus me being absent and not want to be there and just like whatever, right? Those are two different things, right? And of course, with my tribe, they helped me realize that. I'm not saying I've always felt like that and I've always known that, but they have helped me realize what it really is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, I gotta be open and honest and vulnerable with my tribe, because they're gonna set it straight. They're gonna tell me like it is. They're not gonna sugarcoat it. You know, so, and those things are definitely valuable. Valuable. You got to have it in your life. You got to. All right. So when it comes to this mental health, just how we check our bank accounts, we check, what bills are paid. We check, make sure, everybody got food to eat, clothes on their back, check your oil in your car, gas tank, right? How you check those things to keep life going. Check in with your mental health the same way. The same way. So if you ever seen me or notice or wonder how you do it, Nelson, I heard your story. I heard that you do this and this, that, and this and that. How are you doing it? I check in with my mental health. I don't play games with my mental health. I acknowledge my mental health. And I seek help for my mental health. It's ironic, right? Your gas tank gonna eat. What you do? You go to the gas station and fill up. The refrigerator's empty. No groceries. Oh, go to the grocery store. Yeah. No different. Mental health is not where it needs to be. Go talk to somebody professional, for sure. But at the very least, go talk to somebody and get it off you and release it. I know everybody's, medical situations and insurance is just a different, situation. But at the very least, you can talk to a human being and let it off. So there's no excuse even with that. Because we all talk to our friends and people who we know about crazy stuff and stuff that don't matter. So use that same person to be like, you know what, this is how I'm really feeling. And watch how the relationship shift, because guess what? They feel like that too. But just ain't said nothing, right? Just ain't said nothing. So there you go. So let's tighten up on this mental health. Men's mental health month. Let's tighten up. For yourselves, for our women, for our children, and it's overall for the world. I ain't got no excuse, then you don't got no excuse. So I'm just saying. So then, this past Sunday, we had another, emotional, moment again. We had our pastor's 1 year anniversary at Gospel Hill Baptist Church. With the presiding pastor is Pastor John Calhoun Jr. Okay, my brother-in-law. Okay, so, and it's crazy because we just installed him last year. It's like the year went by so fast. But we had the celebration this past Sunday, and I was on the program. I did the welcome, and it's crazy because it wasn't like really, it wasn't planned, but it was like they asked me, like, oh, you can do this. I'm like, all right, cool, all right, bet. So I did it, and they had a script for me to, say the, welcome, but anybody who know me, like, I don't like scripts. I'm gonna go off the script. So, and when I got on the mic, I come with that energy and that passion the only way I know how. So to give you a visual or an example, if anybody seen my retirement speech, and it's on my YouTube channel, labeled Epic Retirement Speech, go check it out. Okay, like, so I came with that energy, right, and just give you some background on that. Like, I spoke for almost 50 minutes or so, and I had their attention the whole entire time. Like, now, this is not me noticing it in the time, but my family and my friends that was there, they was like, yo, you could hear the pin drop. And y'all know, for most people, you can't hold their attention too long, right? But I had them for 50 minutes strong, and I was going in with the passion and the energy, right? So I brought that energy in the church for the welcome, and man, and of course they loved it. They would congratulate me. It was like, hey, you did so good, you know. And this is what I give, you know. It's what I do for people, and just give that energy, encourage, and make you feel good, right? But yeah, so I did that, and it was definitely fulfilling, right? Being able to honor him, and then after that, after the ceremony, we were in the back, you know, fellowshipping and everything, and lo and behold, I talked to two men that has gone or is going through the same situation with their first wife and the kids, right? And I'll be able to get them, and you know, all the difficulties with co-parents and everything. So two other men that day, again, we were being vulnerable and opening up, right? About this is what's going on. This is what I'm dealing with. Oh, this is what I dealt with. This is how I dealt with this. This is what happened. This was the result of this, right? That's what I'm saying, fellas. Two men out of the probably the 100 people that was there. It probably would have been more, right? If you know, we all would have just fellowship like in a big group. You'd be amazed what you'll find out about somebody by fellowshipping and being open and vulnerable and honest. I'm telling you. So even though it sucks that they had a situation similar to mine, you know, it sucks to hear, but it also empowers you to understand that, oh, okay, I ain't in here by myself. You know, they made it through it, I can make it through it, type thing, right? So it sucks in a sense to hear, but it empowers you to keep going, to understand it's not the end all be all, right? And some situations work out, some don't. Some is favorable, some are less favorable, right? But at the end of the day, they're still standing here talking to me about it. They're not dead or in jail, right? Or a bad person. We are in the same space. So those things are important. Those things are very important to understand. Like, getting out there and open it up and understand, like, dang, like this sucks, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. You know, and that helps me from not crashing out. That helps me to you know, get a better understanding of what's going on in life. Because this thing is bigger than me. This thing is bigger than me. I come on here and be who I am, despite how bad I want my daughters, because they're going to see this video and I want them to recognize, oh, that's my daddy. That's the man I recognize. That's the man I've known my whole life, right? Despite my inner thoughts, despite what I feel inside, but I got to come correct, because one, I'm a man. I'm a father. I got to come correct. I'm the leader. I can't do one thing and expect somebody to do something else. It's like, no, it don't work like that. I'm gonna practice what I preach, because if I can't hold discipline to myself, then how would I expect to my kids or my wife or nieces and nephews or brothers and sisters to respect it or to embody that? Because it kills me, like how adults will get on children about things that adults do, full-grown adults, mature adults do to this day, and be like, no, that's don't do that. That ain't how you do that. What? So that's my biggest thing, the discipline, right? We can talk and we can, you know, say whatever, right? But what are you doing though? How are you living? See, that's my biggest thing, right? And back to this man thing. I got this joke, you know, I joke with my wife all the time. Me and my wife, we are jokesters, man. Like, we'll go in grocery stores, be laughing and giggling and mess with each other, whatnot. And people just be like, "Oh, y'all just so good together. Y'all, you know, y'all beautiful." You know what I'm saying? But it makes you think, it's like, damn, do people not have fun and laugh with their spouse in public or something like that? Like, we're not nothing special. You know, we just had a joke. You know, but Every time we go out together, and we, especially after church, we'd be dressed up, man, it'd be so hilarious. People who approach us, we just having some silly conversations or teasing each other or something, right? And it amazes me, bro. It amazes me. But like I was saying, with this man stuff, right? Everybody want to be so macho, blah, 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 right? But hey, yo, let's get vulnerable and say what's really on our minds and our hearts and express it, right? Because at the end of the day, like, we can talk about, oh, you weak, man. You cried for your woman, or you cried, man, or or you weak, or you less of a man. But my question to all that, though, and my wife, I have her laughing when I say this. I'm like, yeah, you calling me weak, but can you fight, though? Okay? Everybody fingers work. I ain't talking about that. Everybody fingers can but can you fight, though? I've always asked that question when I watch movies and TV. I'm like, people be talking crazy and be talking sideways, but like, can you fight, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, forget what somebody look like, or if they look weak, or if they look whatever, but can you fight? And I'm talking about in the physical sense and in the psychological sense, right? Because this life is a fight. But if we're going to talk about manhood and what a man's supposed to look like and what they look like if they do this and versus that, like, okay, we can say all that, but can you fight, though? Because then now you done lost to a man who cried in front of his woman. You done lost to a man who didn't cry in public because something really hurt him and he wanted to express himself. You know? So that's all I'm saying, right? You know? And I've cried in front of my wife several times. And matter of fact, outside of my mama, she's the woman I've cried in front of the most outside of my mama. She don't see me no less of a man. So that's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, just put that in perspective. Put that in perspective. Everything don't have to be macho. Everything gonna be, beating on your chest and everything. Just understand, like, as men, we hurt too. And not just anger, not just I'm mad. Like, we are sad too. Okay? We are depressed too. We get anxious too. Life sucks for us too. Yes. Okay. But let's channel that energy into something positive. That's the whole moral of all this. Just channel it into something positive, right? I can't have my daughters how I want them, how I want to. So guess what? My stepchildren, my grandchildren, my niece and nephews gonna get that love. Because I could close myself off and be like, you know what? If I can't have my daughters, if I can't teach them to be with them, then the hell with everybody else. And that's what it is. And I said what I said. Like, I could be like that. But what good would that serve? What would that serve? So I'm just saying, just the food for thought. I'm just saying, your boy go through it too. So I'm not here on high horse or high and mighty. I go through it battles daily. But I just choose to take the high road. I choose different. That's the only difference, y'all. I'm telling you. I know I package it real good when you're around, when you see me. But I'm telling you, I understand, men, fellas, I get it. I get why we do what we do. I get it. It don't make it right. But I understand, though. I understand. So just chew on that a little bit. Just please chew on that. Because as I reflect, it's been 3 years since I did my retirement ceremony, right? And then the speech I'm telling y'all about, I'm referring to. Go check it out. I'm telling you, go check it out. It's very memorable. But it's been 3 years, and I sit here, I reflect every month, every year. It's like, man, I'm getting better and better and better. Even though my situation is not getting better, but I'm getting better. Y'all see the difference? That's what makes me stand out. I'm no better than no other man walking this earth. It's just that I understand my assignment. I understand how life really go out here. And I got people around me to keep me on track. When I didn't want to pay child support no more, my wife was like, no, that's not the man I married. I understand. I understand why. I get it. But that's not the man I married. And she shut that down. Okay, so trust me. Trust me. Like, we none of us immune to this thing called life. So I'm just letting y'all know. You got to make sure. You got to make sure that you're on your square at all times, because the devil is busy out here. And how I know is because, again, when I didn't want to pay that month, oh, I felt so good. It felt good, y'all. Oh man, oh, it feels so good. And I wasn't gonna say nothing, but my wife was like, "Nope, we ain't doing that." Mm-mm. You know. And I went up. I went in my shower and I cried. I cried my eyes out because she was right. But I cried my eyes out, y'all. I'm telling you, I go through it. I cried at least 4 or 5 times since I retired about my babies. Like in front and in behind closed doors. I'm saying like at least 5 times since I retired. And what, September, it'll be 3 years since I've been fully retired. So yeah. And I ain't weak. I can tell you that right now. And matter of fact, after I cry, I feel stronger. And as a matter of fact, and I know it probably sounds cliche, because but it's real though. It's for real. And I'm talking to the people who don't believe in all this, that don't know about this, right? Because the ones who know, they know. I'm preaching to the choir. But the ones who think it's a game out here, okay, you keep on harboring that feelings and emotions and don't release anything, and that's why we have heart attacks and we die faster. So you go ahead and play the game of life if you want to that way. I'm not. I'm trying to be around for my great grandchildren. So that's what I'm on. So I mean, but again, like I came with the heat. I told y'all I was gonna come with the heat because this is very emotional, and I had a lot to say about this. This topic of Men's Mental Health Month and then Fatherhood, Father's Day, and all the stuff you see and everything. Like, nah, I'm gonna give you the real of my experience at least. And I ain't backing down. I'm backpedaling. Like, yeah, I want my babies, Blessing, Corian, Emerson. I'm still seeking for you. I'm still reaching out to you, and I ain't gonna stop. So I don't care who get mad about it. I don't care. So I understand my assignment though. That's what I do know. Okay, so hopefully everybody had a good June. Juneteenth was off the chain, of course, and a lot of moving parts in June. So it was definitely ups and downs for me. What say you? Because I'm open book. I'm telling you right now. Y'all drop a comment or ask a question. I'm telling you. I mean, I ain't even be on here talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give you my honest, open, answer or my feelings, my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's men out here who need to hear this and who need to receive this. So I ain't scared, by no means. But I do understand where I'm at in life and how life really goes. But I'm actually proud of myself, honestly, in my maturity and my growth. I can't say that. I can't say that. I'm actually proud of myself because I sit back and I watch myself, right? I observe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just be like, man, and I talk about it with my wife all the time, right? So, I'm always bouncing stuff off of her. But I'll be like, dang, man, like, man, your boy really, you know what I'm saying? Coming on up in the world, And she give me my kudos and everything. She reflects too, it's just when you notice it, it's like, it hits different when you notice it, the self, right? When the person themselves notice it, it's like, oh man, like, okay, I see what this is, I see what this is. For sure. So yeah. But hopefully there was a word for somebody. I'm telling you. I know I'm way more passionate this episode, but it hits different, y'all. It hits different. You know what I'm saying? There's men out here trying to get to their babies who want to be great fathers, and they're being blocked. You know, so you know it is what it is. But we can't give up the fight. You know what I'm saying? We can't throw in the towel, right? You know what I'm saying? But I understand why people do, though. I get it. I really do. It's not in my heart to do that, but I understand it. I understand, right? Ain't no judgment here. That's right. That's why it's judgment free with NB3, right? The perfect title for my podcast, because I have no judgment for nobody at this point. You know, going through what I've been through, and it's still going through. So, yeah. But yeah. So hopefully, you know, this helps somebody. You know, please like, comment, share, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I ain't talking crazy about women and mothers and everything. I know that gets, you know, in the algorithm and all that type of stuff. That's not who I am. So if only 15 people watch this, then that's fine with me. Okay. But if it does hit you where it needs to, please like, share, subscribe, comment, you know what I'm saying? All that, you know, good stuff. You know, I suck at, you know, saying that stuff all the time, because that's just what it is, right? But just do your part. Just like it, you know. It don't cost nothing to support. It really don't. At least not what I'm asking for, at least, because I'm gonna do this video regardless, right? So, but if it moves you, if there's a man that needs to see this, or a woman, right? Just send it to him. Send it to him. They can reach out to me directly, you know, on all social media platforms. Like I don't care. I'm that person. I'm that person for real. And you can ask, like, I am that person for real. So anybody who acknowledges me, I acknowledge them for sure. So I know this one kind of went long, but it was needed, y'all. I had a lot to get off my chest. You know, and it's just what it is sometimes. You know, it be like that sometimes. So watch it in increments. Or however you do it. If you got a short attention span, you know, do what you need to do. But I'm unapologetically doing this and saying this because it needs to be said. Okay? So all my real men, real fathers out there, a salute. Okay? All the real women and the mothers that's supporting, salute. Because it takes two, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It takes two. You know? So acknowledge your support system. If you have one, acknowledge them. You know what I'm saying? And the way I go about it, it's like I will talk to people as though I'm not going to talk to them again. Right? That's how I operate. Because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We all know that. We say that, but we don't embody it, right? Again, it's all about embodying it. So I can get along with it for the simple fact that I may not see you tomorrow. Or this may be the last time. So I'm going in. I'm going to go in. So yeah, that's what I do. And ain't nothing else left pretty much but my promotions, y'all. So y'all already know how I get down. You know what I'm saying? My intellectual power. You know, I take this every day. You know, I'm sure it helps with my clear mind and energy. And I mean, it says it on the bottle, but you know, everything affects people differently, right? So intellectualpower.net. Go on there and see what the herbs and ingredients it has and what it's supposed to do for you. You may be interested in it. It's Black owned. You know, I've been taking it for almost 2 years now. I've gotten rid of all my other supplements, all the little gummies and everything. I got rid of all that stuff, right? And I just take this. So it's been doing good for me. On top of everything else that I do, holistic approach, obviously, right? Mental health, right? Exercise, dieting, right? It ain't just I'm just taking a pill, right? It's the holistic approach, right? Everything I'm talking about is about a holistic approach, not just knowing one thing, right? And people be like, "Oh, I did this and it didn't work." Okay, you ain't taking it at all angles, right? So, which leads me to Big Bro, Zoe Williams. MrZoeWhat.com is his website. Go order his book. He has a new book coming out. You can go pre-order it. The Way of the Intercepting Asshole. All right, that's the name. All right. You can go to their website, MrsOWhat.com. You can order this book as well, the Try the Lighthouse. Now, it's gonna give you that self work, right? It's gonna give you that work that you don't want to do. You know, when you look in the mirror, you like, I don't like what I see. You know, physically, it's gonna do that psychologically, right? So again, holistic approach, right? So I do the self work. I got my supplements, all natural ingredients, of course, right? And then my big sister, Zaza Ali. Okay, ZazaAli.com. She has books that talking about, you know, changing your mind from lack to abundant, the science of sex. This one right here, it gives you insight again on self and your thought process and how to change the way you think before you do anything else, right? Again, mind, body, right? You know what I'm saying? And what you put into your body as well, right? Food, what you watch, what you consume, everything. Holistic approach. Holistic approach. Of course, then you got Class Bookstore. All right, that's in 3rd Ward, right next to TSU. So if y'all local, go ahead, hit them up. And if you're not, they have social media. You can get them online. Yeah, this is one of the books I'm still working on from a Class Bookstore. So I definitely frequent that bookstore and get shirts and books and everything. So, you know, so yeah, get the things that you need to feed your soul and your body properly, not the junk and the mess, right? Because we good at that, but let's get some things that's gonna actually help us, and so we can elevate and be our best version of ourselves. Okay. I think that is it as far as my promotion. So that's all I got for now. But yeah, y'all already know what it is. Okay. We halfway through the year. Halfway. All right. What the second half gonna look like for you? Only you can decide that. Okay. I don't plan on crashing out no time soon, despite of my situation. I plan on elevating and being better despite of my situation. That's a choice, people. It ain't no by chance. It ain't no luck. It's by choice. Okay. So, but those are the things that I showed y'all that helped me get through my situations and life. On top of my tribe, my wife, my lovely wife, my stepkids, my friends, family members. So, yeah, holistic approach, people. Holistic approach. All right, that's gonna be the word for the rest of the year. Holistic approach. That catchphrase. Y'all take that and run with that. Ain't no one-stop shop. No. Life ain't set up that way. Holistic approach. Okay. So, other than that, y'all already know what it is. I love y'all for free. And I can help you, but I can't save you. Until next time, I love y'all. Peace.